up, guys? We're back with some RX7 content. It's been a while with this, but the last video we got the rear quarters fixed and stuff like that. Still got to do a lot of the body work. Like I said, that's last. But the big thing that we're going to be doing in this one is we're going to be doing a 6-speed swap. I'm going to be putting the Rx8 6-speed transmission in this. I know people cry and carry on that they're weak transmissions and stuff like that. Well, we got turbo Rx8s and everything else, and the transmissions have held up just fine. What I find that most people do with them is they bang shift the things and they bend shift forks, and then the synchros go out. And I've never seen one grenade. I know people that have them behind 20 Bs and everything else. But the other big thing is this car's over 1,000 pounds lighter than an Rx8, so the transmission isn't going to take heavy as a load as an Rx8 or a heavier car would that's over, 3,000 pounds to this being under 2,400 pounds. It'll be fine. I haven't broke the rear end in this, and this is 7-inch rear end yet. So, but that's going to be addressed too at some point here. It's going to be the rear end and get something better than the 7-inch rear end in it. But let's get into this. I got to get this up in the air so I can get underneath it, get all these tranny bell housing bolts out, get the battery unhooked, and we're also going to be upgrading the turbo to a 366 SXE while we're in here, going a little more into the 21st century with turbo over this old T76, I believe it is, on it, with no anti-surge or any of that stuff. This turbos work great, but it's undivided manifold. I mean, not manifold, but housing, and we've got a divided manifold on this, and the new SXE is divided, so we should pick up a little bit of spool RPM, drop that down a few hundred RPM, at least 500, and have way better sound. And then we're going to be doing 3.5-inch exhaust all the way back, and like I said, when we had the when I was fixing the quarters underneath this, we're probably going to be coming out of the side here with the 3.5-inch and a teardrop, but we'll see. First things first is start getting this old transmission out and making the mount and stuff. So it's a pretty easy swap in this. Still going to use the same drive shaft, all that stuff. This being an SA, my shifter's back 4 inches, and that Rx8 is up 4 inches, and it's going to put it back in the stock location in this car, which is going to be awesome as well. So let me get to it, get it in the air, and we'll dig right into this thing. All right, I got the car all jacked up, but now's a good time to get into our little partnership we're going to be doing here. We're going to be doing a giveaway with Castrol Super Clean. You'll win original cleaning deal and aerosol can, and we'll be using it on this because last time I went out I decided to not check my catch can and blew oil all over the engine bay, so it's all down the side of the transmission stuff. I don't feel like getting covered in crap. So all you're gonna have to do is like, comment, subscribe, and we'll pick a winner in the next 2 videos of and then you just we'll email you and you can send us the address and we'll go from there. But like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. That'll get you entered to win that. And so we're going to get into what we're going to need to do the swap. Obviously, transmission. I haven't dragged it in yet. You're going to need some gear oil, an Rx8 starter. That's a biggie. Your Rx7 starter isn't going to work. And on the BMW, I use this part number from AutoZone. You can get it from other places too. It's just a Honda Civic, like 93 to 97 Honda Civic or Accord slave cylinder. Pretty simple. You have to get spacers, which we'll go over when we get to that point, and you can get that on. And I think I modified the shaft ever so slightly. I think I extended it. We'll get into that as we get farther into the video, but right now I'm going to get the drip tray out and spray some of this Super Clean all over this oil and let that sit while I unhook the battery. Also got to pull the shifter out and then start getting the starter off and bell housing bolts. So I should have some help coming shortly, so we can film a little bit of this as I do it. But yeah, we'll get that Super Clean on there and start cleaning up some of this mess so we don't have to get covered in grease and oil. All right, like I said, we're gonna squirt some of this down in here, Castrol Super Clean, because we got oil everywhere as soon as I get it to spray. So we are covered in oil, and it sucks. So we'll get that on here, let it sit, not incredibly long, and then, like I said, underneath is a disaster. Like I said, I got the drip tray under here, good thing. But you see everything is covered in oil, and we're gonna get that off of here because I am not a big fan of getting covered in crap. So we're gonna let that sit, and then we're gonna come through and spray her down with some brake clean because I don't have any water out here, and wipe it all down and not get covered in oil because it sucks. Yeah, the whole underneath of this car is plastered in oil. So yeah, great. Not really what I was going for today. I was hoping, because this car is usually relatively clean. So, you know, that's another thing too. Always check your catch cans unless you want to blow oil all over the place, because it was 100% full on this thing. So let me get to it, get this battery unhooked, and then we'll clean all this off and hopefully not get covered in oil, which we shouldn't. So awesome. All right, I got my battery unhooked. Well, I didn't really have to unhook it too bad because I've got a breaker in here. So I just killed the breaker. Battery's back in there. So we got to get the shifter out. Pretty simple. See if I can do it with one hand, because like I said, I've been trying to film and actually show some stuff. So on the 79s, you got your two screws here. Not too terrible. We're going to have to switch this all around when we do the transmission now, because like I said, the shifter's going to be up there. So I've got to find that original piece. Again, I don't think I have any of these shifter shrouds. I'd like to find a new one if anybody's got one. It's got to be a 79 deal anyways, and then it's going to have like the little change holder thing down here that I don't have. So I got to get the shift knob off. All right, this is going a little easier than I thought it was going to. And then I originally had to cut this transmission tunnel back a little bit, so we're going to be re-tinning that back in. Yeah, we're going to be doing a little screwery here, and then yeah, all my wiring that's going back to the here and stuff like that, and then my reverse lights. So we got to get that unhooked from the transmission while we're in there. And apparently I got the wrong tool, because I have Allen's in here. So the 10 millimeter is normal. This was a short throw shifter that was bent. I'll also be putting a new short throw shifter in. So I'm going to get the Allen, but you got to take these three out, pull your shifter out, and then I'm going to have to come in and pull this tin out of here afterwards. But that's no huge deal. Pretty straightforward if you're already putting one of these in your car. That's the other thing too. You're going to need a Turbo 2 size flywheel. Regardless if you have a 12A or whatever, then you need an automatic counterweight, get a lightweight flywheel. You can't use an NA flywheel. It's going to be too small. So that's one of the other things we had to touch base on. So let me get this out and then wipe off all that super clean. And then we'll get underneath this thing and start pulling the starter and bell housing bolts and stuff. All right, be right back. So normal format, got a little carried away. So unbolting the starter turned into having it all unbolted and split from the engine block, if you can see. So we just got to drop it out now and then drag the Rx8 transmission out, prepare the tunnel, and yeah, because the shifter is going to be forward and I got to pull that tin out. So we're going to wrestle this thing out the rest of the way. It's just sitting on a jack right now, and set it on the floor and anger people because they're taking a Turbo 2 transmission out. So we will be right back with the transmission out. All right, we got it all dragged out. Yep, flip and flip. There's the old JDM Turbo 2. That puts me at like 3,500 RPM at 65 with this. So we're hoping that we're going to get a little more out of this. So here it is. We're looking at maybe a ½ inch longer, so we might have to play with the drive shaft. Maybe not, because it doesn't bottom out. So we got to roll this over there. We got the tunnel all opened up because this is going to put it way up where it's supposed to be, where you can see I cut way back here before. Like I said, the shifter was way back. So it's going to put us back in the stock location. So we got to get that up in there. We found some bell housing bolts for the Rx8 bolts because they are slightly deeper. So the bolts we had would not work. Just an FYI. They're longer by 1/2 inch. As you can see, here is short. And then you come over here and you can see they're 1/2 inch longer, each one. So, and then this one's longer as well. Yeah, there's your difference. So before you even attempt to stuff the thing in, make sure you got the right bell housing bolts. So if you pull one of these out of the junkyard, just remember you need to grab the bell housing bolts with it, or you're going to be in a crappy spot and then running around finding nuts and bolts and all that good stuff. So we're going to drag this over there, get it up into the car, hopefully, and up on the on the engine, and then jack it up, get the drive shaft in, make sure we have no issues. And then we'll go from there with the mount and the slave cylinder. Well, we're back. We stuffed this thing in here. As you can see, bell housing bolted up. We got to put a couple more bolts in it, get the starter on, slide this drive shaft in. As you can see, there we are, shifter-wise, compared to the hole before. So it's going to put it right back there. And clearance-wise and all that, I don't know how well we can see. I'll try to climb under here. But there's that. That's where we got to make the mount off of. Everything's fitting all right. You get the starter in and that bolt, and we're getting there. We're getting lazy though, so we got it up in here, and we've been sitting here bullshitting for like an hour. So we'll get a little bit farther on this here in about 10 minutes or instantly for you guys. Okay, well, it's the next day, and we got a little bit farther. Got that Honda slave cylinder on there and got it all bled out. So we got a clutch pedal. So now the thing is where I was talking about a shim, you need about a 1/4 inch shim, just like these. You can get them at Ace, whatever, and stuff like that. Then you're gonna need slightly longer M8 bolts. For the actual rod, just make sure you have the original slave cylinder, and you're gonna take that rod out of the original one and take the Honda one off because it's too short by like 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. Either way, you put that on, then you're just going to get a couple nuts, stuff like that. 2x2 angle iron for the bottom of the mount. This is going to sit, well, we'll go under here because I've already got the other piece cut. And I can make these for people if they don't have the ability to. But when you're under here, you got these studs. And this is going to come up. I got the tranny jack in the way right now, right over that stud. And then I have another 7-inch piece of 2x2 cut on the original trans cross, and then the same thing for the other side. And then once that's on there, we're just going to weld tubes, 2 tubes on this side, and then the same thing on the other side. So it's pretty straightforward. Get the starter in, like I said, Rx8 starter. Just get to hook the wires up and stuff like that. So we're going to get this up in here, move this tranny jack, and then start measuring from here to here and get our tubes so we can get those on there. So we're going to start working on that and be right back. All right, we got this all welded up, and this is what it looks like. Nothing special. Just threw some black spray paint on it. Nothing crazy. So then it's just going to go in the car like so. Maybe. I got light and stuff under here. And yeah, so I can't do this with one hand, so we'll get this up in here, I guess, and come back. All right, got it all up in there, got the gear oil in it and stuff like that. So we'll show you what's up here now that I can hold on the camera with one hand, I guess. I can't work and do it with one hand, but plenty of room for the exhaust. As you can see, there'll be plenty of room for the 3.5 inch when we get to it. And the light died. But there's the mount, all that stuff. It's full of gear oil, a little bit dripping down the side, and everything's hooked up under here perfectly fine. You can see up into the car right now. We got the reverse lights hooked up. It's just your two black wires, and that works. So what we're working on right now, other than setting the car back down the ground after, is temporarily closing the tunnel up because we got to fix some floorboards in this car. Unfortunately, we found out. So we're tinning that back in, and then we're making a little piece of tin right here so we're not looking at a U-joint in here flying at us. But we already tested it, shifted through all the gears, reverse, everything works. And we're going to get this thing back down on the ground here and just make sure our drive shaft doesn't bottom out, which it shouldn't. We already kind of tested it a little bit. And then we'll get that piece of tin in there and get this back together. So we'll be right back. All right, well, we got it all back together for the most part, and we're going to go drive it around the yard, try it out, see if everything works. But don't forget the giveaway with Castrol Super Clean, and just like, comment, and subscribe, and that'll get you honored, and we'll see what we can do there. Yeah, that stuff. And we got this back together, like I said, for the most part. I got the 5-speed shift knob on it. So we got R for race. Now, we'll try it out real quick. We'll get this off of the car. I'll hand the camera to Mike, and we'll go putts, putts, putts. And try not to pick up too much music so we get demonetized. So, open the window. That Bridgeport we don't have. So we go down. We got reverse camera. That's always good. We're moving. Way easier than we did with the Turbo 2 transmission, actually. Some lights would probably be fucking golden, huh? Oh, look at that. We do have headlights. Oh, man. I don't even have to slip the clutch anymore. It just goes. No power steering, so that's always fun, too. She lights right up, though. Right, my rev limiter because it's so cold. Lights up in second. So that's good. Of course, you know, our gauges aren't going to work or anything. And it shifts a lot nicer than the Turbo 2. It's like butter. Remember, we're in second gear. So we'll pull back in and check over some stuff, but it seems pretty successful for the most part. So we'll see here in a second. The gearing is 100 times better. You're gonna hit the garage. Oh, we're golden. Within millimeters. Well, there we are. feed swap seems to work for the most part. We have no e-brake, so anyways, peace out, like and subscribe.